Pick a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.
What's up, Tan? How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. How's it going?
It's okay. Yeah, we are into hour number 5 of the show. So we've been going since like 8 a.m. We had Demetrius Johnson was the first guest. Oh, here we got Garry. We got
what's going on, guys?
Men. Hey, Garry, how are you?
Pretty good.
If you started with Mighty Mouse, you're in trouble. You got us on.
No, we had Mighty Mouse first. Yeah, we've had a bunch of people. We've had Adriano Moraes as well. We've had Martin Nguyen as well. We got his thoughts. You guys, you're the showpiece. You're the pièce de résistance. We got you both at the same time because, yeah, Garry, you got that huge win over Kiyomi Matsushima. I just want to get your thoughts now, Garry. Do you want to fight this man, Thanh Les, next? Do you think you are now the challenger, the #1 contender?
Is that who that is now? Yeah, man. Yeah, man, of course. Man, it's been a long time coming, trying to work my way up the ladder. And, I definitely want a shot at the championship. Sure, man.
Thanh Les, do you want to fight Garry? Is he the next guy you want to put that title on?
I feel like we're about to get married right now with the way he's asking these questions.
I know.
He's like, I do.
I'm going to need to hold your hand while I answer this question. But, obviously we know Garry's on the way up, had some great fights. So we're throwing around some names now. But definitely, he's on the radar. We know who he is. We know he knows who we are. It's going to happen. We're just trying to figure out the timing, obviously.
When do you want to defend your belt, Tan? Do you have a time frame?
Yeah, I'm just getting over some injuries now. My wife is due at the end of March, so I was trying to get a fight in before that, but based on how things are healing and stuff like that, it looks like it might be after, but that's not a final word. We're just trying to see how things are healing and stuff. So hopefully we can get one in. February would be ideal, mid-February, something like that. But if this hangs me up a little bit, then obviously I'll wait till after the baby's born.
Well, we had Martin Nguyen on the show earlier, and he said March is when he wants to fight next. So if you're February, he's March, does that put Garry in the driving seat? Oh, either you can answer, I guess.
Oh, I didn't know if you want to put it my way.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I mean, depending on what one wants to do, what Chatri wants to do with, where he wants to take Garry, what he wants to do with Martin, if that's a rematch that's going to happen, or if they want to fight it out and see who goes next. Obviously, I've said that on social media too. So, I'm open to hearing all options and obviously hearing what the boss says and throw around some names and dates and all that good stuff.
Garry, does February sound good for you if you can get on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's realistic for me to fight by then. We've pretty much been consistently training. I mean, obviously healing up a little bit after the fight, but then sustaining, crazy major injuries, just got knocked in the nose. So, that's that's all we're really healing up. So, yeah, man, I think I'd be ready to fight by then for sure.
Tam, what did you make of Garry's performance against Kiyomi? It was a unanimous decision. Kiyomi was very durable. He hung in there, but were you impressed by what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, you can say positive things about Matsushima's performance. He did a good job, but you hear a lot of people talking about how, Garry couldn't submit him and this and that. But, if you understand martial arts and you understand fighting, you understand that Garry took the top route in all of those exchanges. He was never going to leave dominant position. And, if he was going to get a crack at his neck, then he would have taken it. He got super fucking close a couple times, right? But, Garry's a great grappler. He's going to do what's going to win him the fight. If that means giving up on this choke and being on top and punching in your face a couple times, I'm sure that's the route he obviously took, and that's the right way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, Garry, it's been a couple of weeks now since the fight. You're back in the US, I presume. How do you look back on the fight now? You've had a bit of time to rewatch it, I'm sure. How do you rate your performance?
Yeah, I've only watched it once so far, but it wasn't that long ago. Watched it I want to say last week. I usually wait on it for a little bit. Sometimes I get really over anxious. I'm like, I just want to see it right away. But this time I waited for a bit. Yeah, man, as I watch back on the fight, similar things to what Thom was just saying, like, you know, it became one of those situations where, like, for sure, I obviously wanted to submit the guy, but also in the context of the fight, like, I also understand what the repercussions of, hey, I have someone's back right now, I'm going to go make a move and they're going to get out means. You know what I mean? It's not the same as jiu-jitsu where, like, you know, the guy just gets out of back control and it's like, okay, no problems. You know, guys spin out of back control. Sometimes you end up underneath somebody getting punched in the face. So, you know, I did what I needed to do to make sure that I maintained control over the fight. And I think that I maintained control over that fight 95% of the time, which is, you know, that's my job, you know, to make sure that I'm going to win that fight. So, you know, I'm very happy with my performance. Obviously would have loved to have submitted him instead, but yeah, it's easier said than done sometimes, you know?
Ton, do you think you've got the game to figure out this Garry Tonon puzzle? He seemed to be able to take Kiyomi Matsushima down pretty easily in the first 2 rounds. Do you think you'd be able to keep it standing? And do you think you obviously would favor yourself there, I imagine, if it stays in the stand-up fight?
I like the clickbait. It's nice. No, obviously, you know, obviously that's why we're fighting. I think I would do a great job against Garry. Garry thinks he would do a great job against me. That's his job and that's my job, right? If I went into this fight thinking that he was going to get a hold of me and bring me to the ground and choke me to death, then I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be a good idea to sign on the dotted line. So obviously I think I'm gonna do well. He thinks he's gonna do well, but you know, I think it's a little different. Matsushima doesn't move his feet as much or as planned out as I do, I guess I should say. I think that would be a little bit of some hiccups in there, and hopefully we give him a hard time with the takedowns and try to punch him in the face a bunch.
Yeah, Garry, how would you go about stopping Thanh Les? What would be your, you know, I wouldn't want to give your game plan away, I'm sure, but what do you think you can do to keep the fight in your wheelhouse?
I don't think my game plan's that that secret. I don't think it's you know, I don't think anybody expects much different from what I would say. But anyway, you know, a similar situation. You know, I think what makes a fight like this very exciting is that it's one of those times where you can very easily see things going either way, depending upon the circumstances of the fight. And everybody, you know, his fans are going to say one thing, my fans are going to say another. But at the end of the day, each of those fans that sit down in front of their TV and watch, or on the computer and watch, know in their head that, like, man, if things go the right way for the right guy, like that person could be the victor. And it makes it so much more exciting when you're not watching a fight where you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what the end result of this is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, obviously, as far as like my actual, you know, game plan is concerned, I'm always looking to use the skills that I know best. But again, like that conversation I had about the last fight that I had, like, I'm going to do what I need to do to win the fight. And, you know, that may very well be something different than, you know, trying to go for a submission. Depends on, you know, what happens during the fight, man.
Tom, I asked you a bit about this before. You couldn't have a better training partner, could you, to prepare for a guy like Garry Tonon? You've got Ryan Hall over there in Louisiana. Do you think that would really help you be coming in perfect for this fight?
Sure. I mean, you know, just like, you know, you can find a kickboxer who does certain things with his feet and certain kicks and certain punches that might mimic the way I fight, even though you might find somebody that does some of the same tools. My strategies, tactics, approaches to that same exact tool set is much, much different. Obviously, that could be the case with Garry and the way he attacks and approaches, you know, fighting as far as in regards to Ryan. So obviously, Ryan's a great training partner. I've been training with him forever, and it's been, you know, immensely beneficial. And, you know, I try to help him on my side of things as well. But I think I'm trying to surround myself with a group of guys that really bring out the best in me. Striking, wrestling, grappling, cage work, up, down, you know, whatever the case may be. And I think it doesn't matter whether it's a good mimic or not. I think the group that I have around me does a really good job of bringing out the best in me, making me fight to my full potential, and improving on the tools that I have in my toolbox. So, that's always a good thing, obviously, to have a high-level grappler that also has a couple of tools that may look similar to some of the tools of the guys that I'm fighting. But, you know, it's a fight. So you're never going to get the same guy in there twice. Whether I could fight Garry 10 times, I'm going to see 10 different little twists on his game each and every time. So you've got to be prepared for everything. But yeah, obviously the quick answer to your question is yes, it's always great to be able to work with a great grappler when somebody's going to try to choke me to death, you know?
And Garry, who would you bring in ideally if you were going to fight Tan? Is there anyone you think you could get in to help mimic the threat he's going to pose to you?
Yeah, so it's a little tricky if I was going to try to find somebody to directly mimic, just because I would say the karate style is a little bit more unique. I'm sure there's guys out there that I could try to do that, or I could specifically coach and say, hey, you know, try to stick with this, you know, style of footwork or whatever the case may be. But more than likely, I would guess that I'm going to be more consistently training with the same guys that I normally train with. Spar pretty similarly, just focus on my game plan. Obviously paying close attention to like the things that I know that he does and the things to look out for, and, you know, doing some drills and stuff to incorporate, you know, defenses to those, or, you know, counter offense or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't know. It is a little tough, you know, similar probably to the case that he's speaking of, where it's like, you know, Ryan Hall is a great grappler, but he's also not me, you know. I think that you're just it's good to have, maybe I'll bring in some guys that are like tougher strikers, but it's going to be not quite the same style. So to say that I'm going to bring in somebody to mimic him, probably not. You know, it's probably not going to be perfect like that. So
I got some questions in the live chat here. Sepiolot is asking you, Garry, how long it took to grow that glorious handlebar?
I'm not sure, man. I don't remember anymore, because I just switched from like one facial hairstyle to the next. So I probably like grew out a beard and then just shaved it in. So I don't really remember, but it probably takes like a month or so at least.
Yeah, every time I see you, Garry, you got some different haircut or facial hair.
I never want the police to recognize me, man. I only got to change that look consistently.
I'll tell you what, though, that mullet got a awesome picture with you were getting a kick or something. You look like fucking Goku.
It was worth all of the pain and suffering of that haircut for that one picture, man. I didn't know that it was going to pay dividends like that, but it did.
Picture. I've got it here. I'll bring it up on screen. Yeah, that was really cool. This wasn't it? I think Ducks took it from ONE Championship. Such a great photographer. Is this the one you mean?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, fantastic. What was the inspiration, Garry? Yeah, about the behind that look, the tiger. What's the name? Sorry, I forgot the name of the show.
Yeah, we did a little Tiger King, man.
Tiger
you know,
King, yeah.
And I honestly just kind of felt like, you know, like you said, I changed my look a bunch, and like the mullet was one thing I never tried. So I was like, let's give it a whirl. You know, let's see what we can do with this.
Obviously,
Sorry, go ahead, Tan.
I was just saying, obviously, it was the right choice. Look at the picture.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Do you have any ideas for your next look if you fight Tan? What you're going to come out looking like?
I'm not sure, but it will probably be different. I definitely, for me to stick with a hairstyle for more than one fight, I don't think it's ever happened yet. So I'll probably switch to something else. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, we've had Wolverine, we've had Tiger King. I can't wait to see what's next. Some other comments here. What makes this fight so interesting is Tan is the best striker Garry's fought. Garry's the best grappler Tan has fought. Do you guys agree with that sentiment? Tan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't know who Garry is? You know what I mean? And I ended up finishing a bunch of people for the belt. So, you know, kind of works out in that favor, I guess.
Yeah, Garry, do you feel that Tan is the best striker you would have fought when you fight him, if you do fight him?
Absolutely. I think something that he mentioned before when he was speaking about my last opponent, Matsushima, I think, yeah, like there are some similarities in terms of like kind of in and out footwork and things like that. But it's very clear that that Thon is much more precise. So for sure, even though I, maybe if, quote unquote, I guess, depending upon your opinion, have faced someone similar in my last opponent, I definitely think he's much better and much more precise, a lot sharper. So I think that for sure it'd be no question that, he's the best striker I've faced.
Another question here, Serpi a lot is asking, Tan, you've probably been asked this before, but do you see not getting signed from the Contender Series as a blessing in disguise at this point?
100%. I don't think, if I would have taken a different route to where I am now, that I would have faced the level of competition this early in my signing if I would have went with a different organization, to be honest with you. And I've said this in interviews past. I say this in every interview, and it's, I'm beating a dead horse here, but that's the reason I signed on dotted lines. The reason that I started fighting is to fight the baddest dudes, to fight the best martial artists that I could possibly face, whether that's in a soccer field down the street, in a bathroom at a bar, or it happens to be in a nice, cool, very clean cage or ring. That's the whole reason I started this. If I couldn't do it this way, then I wouldn't be fighting anymore. I find something else to focus my energy on. But this is the reason I do this, is to fight the toughest challenges that I could possibly face at the time.
Yeah, we have some other comments in the chat. Someone was asking, would you be scared or afraid of losing? Of course not. That's why you would take a challenge like this. You don't seem to back down from anyone. I know from our conversations, Tan, you welcome the challenge of a Garry Tonon, don't you?
For sure. It's not like I'm not backing down because I'm the bravest man ever. It's just, that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is to fight the best guys. And if I don't belong here, I need to know that, right? But we've come a long way, and we fought some really tough guys and have been successful. And obviously Gary's on that list, and we've got to go test ourselves against this guy right here with the cool mustache. So we got to see what's up.
Yeah, Garry, a few other people were asking earlier before you guys jumped on, just what's going on with the Danaher Death Squad? They've been relocated to Puerto Rico, but you're staying in Brunswick.
No, I'm in Puerto Rico with these guys. I moved in a couple days ago, so that's where I'm at right now. 1 hour later than you at the moment. Or actually, sorry, 1 hour later than East Coast time. I don't know what I was thinking. But because I got confused with the time today, actually, when we were signing on. But, I'm out here where the whole team's out here, We got some stuff in the works that we're in the process of building the gym. We'll have a cage and the whole nine. And, I basically just be, I have a couple of MMA training partners that I used to spar with that came down with us, and then I'll probably fly some people in and stuff for actual training camp and things. So, I'm pretty happy with what we got. And John's always my main coach, so that's consistent. And, I have a couple sparring partners I'm comfortable with. And I mean, to be honest, I feel plenty of progress with that. So I'm pretty happy and comfortable with the environment, even though I've only been here for, a few days or so, but I'm pretty confident that we could run a great fight camp out here.
And what's going on with the gym in Brunswick then? Are you still keeping that going?
Yeah, so I still own the school. I'm rebranding it. Going to be calling it Garry Tonon Jiu-Jitsu. But, I'm going to be the owner, but I have instructor Chris Sadba now, who is one of my brown belts, who's been, under me for many, many years, and, really competent, used to train with us in New York City, and just a tough dude and like a real nice guy that I can't really think of anybody better to possibly leave the gym to. And he's going to be doing most of the instructing and everything like that. And I'll handle the business end of things, the boring side. And, I think the gym deserves to live on, man. It would have been, I guess, like logistically easier for me to just pass it off to somebody, but I still want to come back there once a month or so and, show some stuff and just be a part of it all, because these are people that I've known for a decade now, that I've been working with and have been helping me, and, I've been helping them, and, those are deep relationships. It's hard to just just completely walk away from something like that.
And you guys, are you both looking to stay in the division long term, or do either of you plan on moving up? Asks Chris. I know you both have showed interest in going and maybe challenging Christian Maybe Tan, would you see maybe this as an eliminator if you fight Garry for who gets the right to go and maybe challenge Christian?
Yeah, I'd had a different plan that I posted on Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I wanted to do originally a rematch with Martin, but obviously the Garry fight went really well with Matsushima, so maybe they can duke it out, and then I can go fight Christian, see if I can get 2 belts, and then come back and fight with the winner of that team, that matchup. Sorry. That's
interesting. Yeah, Garry, would you be down for fighting Martin first to determine Tan's next challenger while he goes and fights upper weight with Christian?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to say no. I mean, obviously the prospect of fighting for the championship is the thing that you're always looking for the most. You know, if I had no other choice and Martin was the first one that I had to fight, you know, it is what it is. I mean, the way I see it, whether I fight Don next or not, like the Martin fight is going to happen. Like he's been the champ, I think, for prior to that, like 3 years or so, and, you know, been really successful in the division. The idea that he wouldn't then eventually fight me would seem kind of crazy. So it's not like I'm not going to get both fights no matter what happens. It's just a matter of, like, you know, when do you get that championship fight? So obviously I want it as early as possible, but if that's the way that the cookie crumbles, you know, or whatever, it is what it is. We got to fight.
Have you had any conversations, Tan, with One about the Christian fight? Has that got
nothing yet? That's coming up soon. So eager to see how that conversation goes, obviously.
Yeah, so am I. I'm eager to see how it all plays out. Another question here quickly. Ask Tan if he's I don't know how to pronounce that. I know how to pronounce crawfish. Boudin. Yeah. Is that your thing?
Crawfish 100%. My brother's more of a boudin guy. You know, I eat it. Don't get me wrong, but definitely a crawfish lover.
Okay. And one other here, sorry, from the fans. What would you guys do if Jake Paul did the same stunt to you as he did to Dillon Danis? Have you seen that video, Garry? I'll start with you.
I don't know if I watched the full thing. The gist of it that I saw was just a clip of him driving by on a truck and throwing some stuff at him.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not really much to do considering the fact that he drove away in a truck bed. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I'm prepared ahead of time, I might have something that I could do. But I mean, I guess I can't do anything much but just fucking look at him and laugh or shake my fist, you know, kind of like doing it. But I guess after the fact would be what they'd be asking for. I don't know, man. Maybe if he actually engaged with me in social media, maybe I would, you know, start some nonsense back and forth. I mean, I don't really look at it like a real. I see like guys like Dylan and AJ and shit calling him out, but like I don't like look at it as a real martial arts contest, like whether it be boxing or like mixed martial arts. I feel pretty confident in my skills to beat the shit out of him. So it's not really like. I don't know, man. It's like a laughable thing to me when I see these guys bickering back and forth on social media that they're going to fight him. It's not like, I don't know. I wouldn't be passionate about engaging on social media with him personally. I guess I can see what it can do for somebody's brand. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not starting anything organically. Let's put it that way. Although you very well may just steal that soundbite and then start it for me. So we'll see how it goes.
No. Tan, yeah. What do you think of all this stuff?
You know, he's looking for UFC fighters or whatever to fight. I think it's ridiculous. No matter how good you are at anything, you've spent 3 years, I think he said, getting good at boxing. You're not that good. No matter what you're practicing, it's 3 years compared to somebody who's been boxing for 10, 15, 20, whatever. Like, it's just, you can't be that good. It's just not possible. Right. So I'm confident in Garry's skills to go knock him out. And I would love to go knock him out too. But yeah, if he runs up on us in an interview and throws some, I don't know what it was, water bottles or toilet paper or whatever, that's a similar response. Like, I can't chase the man down in a truck, but you know, it's, I think I'm not a big shit talker online. Obviously we're doing this interview and it's probably going way more cordial than all the media wants it to, like, you know, like high-fiving Garry and saying I do and all this, but he would be fun to talk shit to, because you can kind of get ignorant and just say all kind of crazy shit, because really, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you guys, you kept it very respectful. I like that. It's great to see. I don't want to force any trash talk here, you know. Yeah, Garry, just how much respect do you have for Tan as a martial artist?
Yeah, a lot, man. I mean, just because we know, it's not the same sport that we specialize in doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. I think if anything, like, by achieving excellence in one martial art, you can appreciate the excellence in another one, even more so than you would have otherwise. Because I think that, even though from the outside looking in, when somebody's never done martial arts before, watches something and they might think that it's amazing, I don't think that they really put the pieces together to understand how much work it takes for it to look like that. So when I see somebody that strikes the way that he does, like, I mean, I realized that there was just years and years and years of dedication associated with that, not just the actual, striking strategy involved and the way that he leads people into things and all these sorts of things. I mean, it takes careful practice and timing and effort, dedication, and I have a great appreciation for that. So, anybody that, whether it's grappling or whether it's, in a striking martial art that puts that kind of time in and really tries to perfect their craft, like, I can't do anything but, applaud them in their efforts and be respectful,
Yeah, Tan, I guess the feeling is mutual. I'm sure you have a lot of respect for Garry's skills.
100%. I mean, just like Garry said, the better you are at one thing, the easier it is to understand, man, this dude spent a lot of time getting good at that thing, right? So it's the other side of the coin, but 100%. There's always a mutual respect between great fighters, great martial artists, guys that are up in the ranks and doing really well in their careers and this and that. But also you've got like the specialists on the other side and the specialists on this side. So that's a really cool grappler, striker, whatever deal going on. But, it takes a very high level of dedication and a lot up here to be able to achieve the things that he has. So it's cool to see. And then it's going to be really cool to be able to test ourselves against each other.
Indeed, indeed. A couple quick questions here in the fan chat, and then we can wrap it up, guys. Appreciate your time. How do you see DJ v. Moraes going? Garry, we'll start with you.
It's a good question. So I will say this. I have watched a lot of DJ's fights in ONE Championship, and I think that he has had some of the most difficult contests he's had in his career. I think with the exception maybe of Henry Cejudo. So, moving over to ONE and him, any fight that he's had over here, I'm kind of like watching like, man, like, is this going to be the one, like where the guy, where somebody, finally manages to beat him. So not that I don't respect his skills and everything that he's done and everything like that, but man, I really think that the lighter weight classes in ONE Championship have a lot more. Certainly they did when Demetrius started, but like they have a lot more to offer than people realize. I think all of the weight classes at ONE do, but specifically the lighter weight classes, I don't think like people realize like how skilled some of the lighter like Muay Thai guys and stuff like that are, that often come out of Asia. And like the 125 division, in the US is not what it is out in a place like Asia, I don't think. Certainly from at least at the bare minimum from a striking perspective, I just don't think we produce the same level of athletes at that weight class in the United States or Europe or whatever the case may be.
And Tan, what's your prediction there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. It is surprising to see not the level of difficulty, but like the level of opposition that he's facing. That it's, you see DJ, in my opinion, you see DJ as one of the greatest that have ever done it. And then he comes over and he's not just washing people because he's got to fight. He's got to fight this man in front of him. He's got to perform. He's got to do what DJ does. But none of these are easy fights, you know. And just to Gary's point, like, it's a stack. The lighter the weight class, the almost the more stacked it is over here with ONE Championship, which is really cool to see. Always watching these little guys fly all over the ring. It's awesome. You know, I think DJ pulls it out. I'm a big fan of his. And, you know, I talked about earlier how, you know, Gary's one side of the coin as far as being a specialist goes. I might be on the other side. He's a specialist in mixed martial arts. You know, he might not have a specific art that he is a specialist in, but the actual mixing of martial arts, he does so well. And I think he does it better than a lot of other people. So that's, I got a lot of respect for him.
Would you like to be on the card, same card with DJ? I think he's in February.
That would be really, really cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm down for that one if you want to go book that. Sorry, final thing for you, Tan. Can you walk out to Louisiana bounce music and scare the people at one?
Actually, that's a really good idea. I'm a big Roy Jones fan. I love him. I love his music. He always use him as my walkout song. But Louisiana bounce, we're gonna have to make a special little mix for the next fight, and that is a great idea.
Gary, what's your walkout music if you're going to fight Tan? Do you have an idea yet?
So they put the same walkout music this most recent time. They didn't have time to change it. I try to change it whenever I can. I can't confirm or deny anything. I'm definitely going to have to put some thought into it. It may correspond to my hairstyle. It may not. You know, you never know. So I'm going to keep them guessing.
All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. It's been super fun to get your thoughts on this potential matchup, this huge clash that could happen in ONE Championship. I would love to see it. I'm sure a lot of fans would love to see it. But let's see how the cards fall. Anyway, Thanh Les, Garry Tonon, thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for having us.